The bike that motorcycle restorers buy when they want zero headaches isn't a Harley, it isn't a Triumph, and it definitely isn't anything Italian. It's the 1978 to 1983 Honda CB750F or CB900F. And the reason is brutally simple. These engines were so over-engineered that restorers regularly find them running fine after sitting in a barn for 25 years. That's just the start. Here are the bikes seasoned restorers actually pick when they want to turn a wrench once and ride for a decade. The Honda CB, SOHC, and Dodge 4s. Walk into any restoration shop in the country and you'll see the same thing leaning against the wall, an old Honda CB. The CB750 Soch from 1969 to 1978 and the DOHC versions that followed through 1983 are the gold standard for a reason. Honda overbuilt these motors by a factor of 2. The bottom ends were rated for way more power than the engine actually made, which is why you'll find CB750S with 80,000 original miles still holding 40 pounds per square inches of oil pressure at idle. Parts availability is the real kicker. Companies like David Silver Spares, CMSNL, and Z1 Enterprises stock everything from petcock rebuild kits for $35 to complete wiring harnesses for $400. You can rebuild the entire top end of a CB750 for under $600 in parts. Try doing that on a 1,978 Ducati and you'll spend $600 just on one cam bearing. Restorers pick these because the math always works out. The Yamaha XS650, the bike that refuses to die. Now here's one that might surprise you. The Yamaha XS650, built from 1970 to 1984, is what restorers grab when a customer says the word bobber or cafe racer. This parallel twin was basically Yamaha's copy of the 1960s Triumph Bonneville, except they fixed everything. Triumph got wrong. No oil leaks, no constant points adjustment, no primary chain that stretches every 5,000 miles. The engine is so simple a first-time restorer can tear one down on a kitchen table. 2 valves per cylinder, a single carb on the early models, and a charging system that actually works. Mike's XS in Michigan stocks literally every part for these bikes: pistons, crankshafts, cases, the whole deal. A complete engine rebuild runs around $800 to $1,200 in parts. Compare that to a Triumph T120 of the same era, where just the crankshaft regrind alone is $400, and you see why XS650S end up in the queue first. Where it gets interesting, the Kawasaki KZ series. This next one is the bike restorers buy for themselves, not for customers. The Kawasaki KZ650, KZ750 Twin, and the legendary KZ1000 from the late 70s and early 80s are tanks. Kawasaki used such thick castings on these engines that you can run them low on oil, abuse them, ignore valve adjustments for 30,000 miles, and they'll still fire up. Here's the actionable part. If you're shopping, look for a 1977 to 1980 KZ650 or a 1977 to 1983 KZ1000. Avoid the KZ754. It's a decent bike, but parts are drying up fast and you'll end up paying $200 for a used carb rack. The twin-cylinder KZ750 from 1976 to 1983 is different and actually one of the easiest engines on the planet to rebuild. Z1 Enterprises and Murph's kits have you covered for everything. Budget around $1,500 to $2,000 for a full mechanical refresh on any of these. The BMW Airhead, the 200,000-mile engine. If you've ever wondered why old BMW guys are so smug, this is why. The BMW Airhead Boxer twins from 1970 to 1995, the R75, R80, R100. All of them are the only bikes on this list where 200,000 miles is considered broken in. Restorers pick Airheads when a customer says they want to keep the bike for 20 years and ride it across the country. The genius of the Airhead is mechanical simplicity combined with German over-engineering, shaft drive, no chain to lube every 500 miles, 2 cylinders sticking out in the wind, no radiator, no water pump, no thermostat to fail. Bing carbs that any mechanic with a screwdriver can rebuild in 45 minutes. The valve adjustment is so easy. BMW put it on the outside of the engine. You literally just pop two covers and check clearance with a feeler gauge. The catch? Buy-in is higher. A clean airhead project starts around $3,500 these days, and a running R100 will run you $5,000 to $8,000. But ask any restorer which bike on this list they'd take across the country tomorrow, and 9 out of 10 say the airhead. Now, forget everything I just said for a second. There's one bike that beats all of these for reliability, and a lot of restorers won't admit it because it's not cool. The Honda CB350 and CB360 twins from 1968 to 1976. These tiny 325cc and 360cc parallel twins are the most bulletproof things Honda ever made. You can buy a non-running CB350 for $800, throw $300 in parts at it, new points, condensers, carb kit, battery, tires, and have a daily rider in a weekend. Common Motor Collective in Texas sells a complete tune-up kit for $89 that includes everything you need. The engines routinely go 60,000 miles between rebuilds, and when they do need work, a full rebuild costs maybe $400 in parts. That's not a typo, $400. The one everyone forgets, the Suzuki GS series. This is the one that costs riders the most money when they overlook it. The Suzuki GS line from 1977 to 1986, specifically the GS 550, GS 750, GS 850, and GS 1000, has the strongest bottom end of any Japanese bike from that era. Period. Suzuki engineers actually copied the Kawasaki Z1 design and then made it stronger. Drag racers in the ADS were pulling 300 horsepower out of these engines on the stock crank. For a restorer, that means you can buy a high-mileage GS, find a stuck motor, free it up, and the bottom end will almost always be fine. The weak point is the charging system, the stator and regulator rectifier, and both are aftermarket fixes. Rick's Motorsport Electric sells a stator and R combo for around $250 that solves it permanently. Budget $1,800 for a complete restoration on a GS 750, and you've got a bike that'll outlive you. Why restorers avoid the bikes you'd expect? Here's where I'm going to upset some people. Restorers generally don't pick old Harleys, old Triumphs, or anything from Moto Guzzi when they want zero problems. Pre-evolution Harleys leak oil from the day they leave the factory, and shovel head bottom ends are a known weak spot. A full rebuild on a 1978 shovel runs $4,000 to $6,000. Pre-1979, Triumph twins need their primary chain adjusted every other ride, and the electrics are Lucas, which is its own punishment. This doesn't mean those bikes are bad, it means they're projects, not reliable choices. There's a difference between a bike you love and a bike that won't strand you. If you want zero problems, you go Japanese or you go BMW Airhead. That's the unwritten rule in every restoration shop. Remember how I started this Honda CB750S, sitting in barns for 25 years and firing up after a fresh battery and clean fuel? That's not folklore. That's the thing every restorer counts on. The bikes on this list, the CB Hondas, the XS650, the KZ Kawasaki's, the BMW Airheads, the little CB350, and the Suzuki GS series share one trait. They were built in an era when Japanese and German engineers were trying to prove a point, and they massively overbuilt every single component to do it. So here's the one takeaway: if you're looking at a project bike right now and you want to actually ride it instead of fight it, pick from this list and you'll spend your weekends on the road instead of the garage floor. If this saved you from buying the wrong project, you know what to do.